newspaper about his salary being rolled back, and this was a way of wanting to get as many people to the meeting on 12/15, where it was being brought back up to show support and to express support for reinstating the mayor's salary.
Absolutely.
Ms. McBride, is it your position that the meeting was then orchestrated by the Ellis transition team in order to show support for Mayor Ellis as like a public display of support?
Yes.
Almost falsified, or were the statements made for them?
Statements were made for them, and talking points were handed out to those people that were contacted.
Okay.
Not everybody that went up was given a prior statement to be made. There were people that generally did come out on their own accord to show support. There were other people within those ranks that did come up to make statements that were prepared statements.
Thank you.
And to your point, Mr. Fulber, email number 39, the minutes from the 12/7/15 meeting. And on the very last point, number 6, it says, discuss the importance of filling. Now, again, these are not your minutes, so I don't expect you, again, I would ask if you can recall, you do. Discuss the importance of filling the chamber with, quote, unquote, our people. What is our people?
Filling the chamber with our people would be Democrats that were definitely supportive of Ellis during his campaign, and anybody else that did support him.
Email number 43. This is the agenda for Saturday. All have attached a copy of the agenda for Saturday's team meeting. Also, Roby would like everyone to come to the meeting with written recommendations from municipal attorney and judge positions, along with reasons why you've chosen a particular candidate. I will give everyone a blank envelope to put their recommendations in and hand it directly to Roby. A discussion we had regarding the other interviews that were conducted. Sherry. Our town's fate is sealed, pun intended, in the proverbial envelope for discussions from a non-elect civilian board.
Correct.
Okay. Presentations, recommendations, municipal attorney, judge, etc. Preparation town council meeting. Discussion for the agenda items, council can determine. Do you recall if Mayor Ellis attended that, Mayor-elect Ellis attended that December 15th meeting?
Do you mean December 12th?
December,
I'm sorry.
Yes, the December meeting where they wanted to flood with our people. Did he attend himself?
I don't recall.
Unless, yes, he attended?
No, it was Bowman.
I'm sorry?
Bowman.
So he did attend. Thank you very much. Email number 45. And after that, this will be Friday. I only have one more now. And that subject is transition team minutes. Sherry Smith emailed to Vicky with 12/16 with the deadline 500. So 16. And I assume at this point in time, and I don't want to get into every single email, I pick and choose the ones that I need clarification on, in addition to maybe where you can shed some light to have discrepancy, hopefully in favor of the things I have questions on.
Okay.
All right, but at this point in time, by December 12th, 2015, I believe Ms. Corcoran had already submitted her resume to you, was interviewed, and was basically selected for the position of,
Correct.
at that point, it was still administrative assistant, not really approved by council yet, but
Correct.
I guess congratulations to her. I have here a few things that are glaring. Sherry will send an email to the town clerk this weekend requesting a list of documents in priority order that are still needed by the team. She will give a deadline to the clerk for receipt of all documents, which will be Wednesday, December 16th, 2015. The reason why that question I just preferenced before getting into this was I had to make sure I had established her hierarchy on the transition team, because I'm not sure if that hierarchy actually trumps contacting the town clerk and giving her a deadline from a person on that end of the spectrum of a mayor that was telling. So the mayor didn't, it says here, the mayor-elect didn't ask, and that's probably a question for, I'll pose to you first, and I'll pose to Vicki second. I'm not sure if you recall a couple of years ago, emails being sent to you by Ms. Corcoran regarding deadlines and paperwork.
I don't recall. I would have to check my email.
Very good, ma'am. There's a need to determine, these are bulleted and not numbered, that's why I'm not giving a number. There is a need to determine the financing of the celebration following the ceremony, as well as an additional $550, that is the balance of payments due from the campaign.
Correct.
What was that all about?
There had been a misprint in some flyers that had to be paid for by the campaign that had not currently, we did not have the current balance of funds. So with any type of campaign, you obviously, if you have a bill due, you have to keep on fundraising until you can pay all your bills off. So that was the 550 was in reference to financing for the celebration. Obviously, there was the inaugural celebration held at Flynn's, which was very nice, by the way. I love it. But that too, since we did not have even enough money to cover the $550 in the account, we would have to continue for fundraising to pay the bill for that party as well.
So are you saying that you were, that 550 you were kind of in the hole for,
We were in the hole for the 550.
going into that party?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we jump to email 53? I didn't have this for our committee. I didn't have this highlighted, but I'm going to jump to it real quick. Just through a lot of paperwork. You have to jump through a lot of that. That's better. And that looks like meeting minutes from 12/19, pretty lengthy.
Yes.
Rogie has, this is in bold, confidentially in italics, proposed the following appointments, and he names the insurance firm, Fairview Insurance Agency, which I'll get to in a minute. Remington and Brandt is the engineering firm. Special counsel, Dakota's law firm. Prosecutor, Chris Troxel, in parentheses, mayor and council to evaluate a possible increase in salary to be determined. So we're prior to swearing in, and so at that point in time, I guess Mr. Troxel, and congratulations on his confidential appointment there, but is, I guess, assumed to get a salary increase on December 19th, 2015, before he's named prosecutor. Right? Okay. I'm just trying to follow. Yes, yes, sir.
Do you remember how that conversation went with regard to the proposed raise for Mr. Troxel?
No, I don't.
No. It is your position that the increase in pay was discussed prior to him being officially appointed again as the municipal prosecutor.
Yes,
Are you aware that the first ordinance passed under the Ellis administration did in fact provide Chris Troxel with a approximate $4,000 raise?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mention was made of an award recipients for outstanding service during the campaign. Deb Myers, Pete Marino, Larry Marino, and others all will be announced at the Rogie celebration. Did you receive any awards?
I did.
Congratulations.
Fantastic fundraiser.
Very good. And my last one is number 62, which is the last one. And this discusses, this looks like you and Mayor-elect going back and forth a little bit regarding the insurance. It says here, I'm trying to figure, Ellis transition at gmail.com. That's not you, right? Ellis transition?
No, that is not that. That email was created by Sherry Corp.
Just curious, how did they know that we selected them as the firm of the insurance, as mentioned prior, since Kent and Rogie have not made the official notification via phone yet? So I'm trying to establish, so the determination of our town's insurance was, hopefully, that's what the mayor goes, Kent Corcoran as well.
Yes. And, that email transition, ellis@gmail.com was created by Sherry Corcoran and primarily used by her.
Understood. And this is regarding the Fairview Insurance Group,
Correct.
which I saw them a nice back and forth. At this time, that concludes my email portion of my questions. I do have a few other questions for you regarding some documents that were turned over. I have some receipts here. I kind of sit and I understood what we had going on. There were two actually in particular that I need a little more clarification on. Okay. The first one is a check from Steve Ellis and Rebecca Ellis, check 4083 on 11/3/15. If I'm not mistaken, that's election day. And that check was to Donna Messina for $70, and the memo was campaign. Were you the treasurer at this time, or?
I was still the treasurer at the time. A copy of that check was submitted to me with a packet of receipts that Mayor Ellis had from the campaign that he personally financed for his campaign. Obviously, as you know, that as a candidate, you're allowed to spend as much money as you like on your campaign. That was submitted as a receipt in an envelope from Mayor Ellis. I do not know what it was since I did not get him to clarify it, what it was for.
Okay. And being transparent, I only ask because the irony of this date is Election Day. And on Election Day, I was inside Democratic Campaign Headquarters. I was summoned across the street as I was doing my lawn, like I mentioned before. And when I entered the building on Election Day, I saw just about all the people on the table of organization that's placed before you inside that building, working as they should be for any campaign. But Ms. Bassini was there, and I had a very nice conversation with her. I just don't understand that, I don't even know if I was there when the check, I'm trying to figure out why a personal check would come, but labeled campaign. It's a, I don't want to use the V word for violation, that's for further discussion, but I just didn't know if you know anything about that.
No, since it was not written from the campaign account, I would not have heard of that.
So I'll make sure it didn't come from there. Thank you very much. And the last thing I have for you is a $1,500 credit card Visa sale on January 1st, 2016 at 4 p.m. even for $1,500.
Correct.
Could you explain what this is?
So the total cost of the inauguration day party at Flynn's was $3,000. At the end of the party, of course, there was not enough funds within our account to be able to pay for it. So the mayor paid for $1,500 of it, which, as I stated, as the candidate, you're allowed to pay as much as you like towards your campaign. The other $1,500 was paid for by the corporates.
Is this the mayor's receipt?
I gave you 2 receipts.
Yes, you did.
Yes, one is for the mayors and one is for the corporates.
And for privacy purposes, even though the last 4 numbers, I'm not going to read them.
Correct.
But they are different.
Yes.
Both are for $1,500. That I am in receipt of the donation list. I don't recall seeing $1,500.
Well, the $1,500 would put them over the limit of contributions allowed in a single year. So it would have been put on as a loan against the campaign. Additional fundraising would have to have been done, and then they would have had to, the campaign would have had to pay the money back.
I'm sure that's all on record somewhere. So.
It's not actually on record. If you look at the filings after I resigned as treasurer, the Ellis's did the filings themselves, and it's not on the record on there as a loan or as an in-kind donation.
You said the Ellis's or both, or is it involved?
Well, I believe that Rebecca Ellis was listed as the new treasurer, and of course Stephen Ellis as the candidate has to sign the reports as well.
Understood.
As well as the campaign chair, I believe.
I went through my questions with yourself. And not thank you enough for your honesty and your candor. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn the questioning over to Mr. Lutz right now, if he has any at all.
No, I don't. But I'd just like to say that if you read the notes and everything, I did not attend the meetings.
You most certainly did not.
I was shocked to even see what the meetings were about, just reading the emails. It's unbelievable how they just put me aside, snub me out. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz. Mrs. DiGirolamo?
No, I don't have anything.
Mr. Faulkner?
I do, and then you can get out of here. So, listening to Mr. McVeigh, I will do the very best that I can not to repeat any of the questions that he had asked, because he had asked some of the questions that I would already have asked. My questions are more towards the actual participants in the Ellis transition team. You may or may not have the answers, but with you, it seemed like you were an integral part of his transition team. You coordinated for him. I do remember him telling me at one point in time you were in charge of his social media.
Yes.
So, they did an excellent job with that.
Are you
because-
still?
No, I have not been in charge of the social media for a very long time.
Do you have any more questions?
No.
No, okay.
That would just come out of
How involved was Mike Swick politically during your tenure with the Ellis transition team?
He did a lot of campaigning, a lot of phone calling. He was involved in with basically the donating. He would be DJ at some of the events, that kind of thing. Yeah.
You ever see him engage in political activity while on duty?
Yes.
You have. Was he in uniform or an unmarked car?
He was not in uniform, and I don't know what car he would have been driving. I don't pay attention to cars.
Do you mind if I ask how you knew he was on duty?
It was a discussion that was done on election day,
Okay.
where he was doing phone calls, and it was asked in passing, aren't you supposed to be at work?
And his answer?
It was a chuckle,
Okay. I think that's mine. I got my answer.
yeah.
How involved was attorney Christopher Troxel?
He said from the very beginning, he did not want to be openly or actively involved in the campaign because of, conflict issues. During the transition, he was minorly, and towards the end, he was involved, just basically campaigning for his candidate. Since most of his involvement did not involve the greater group at large, I don't know if his direct involvement could have been with the mayor on a personal level.
I did see in some of these that he was providing some type of advice with regard to like SOP number 1, where he had said, I believe this is a good approach. So I know that he provided advice at one point in time. When the positions that were discussed in these meetings, and I believe you had already asked this, was a majority, and if you did, I apologize, Chairman, were the positions that did not exist, were they discussed in length at these meetings?
Yes, in the one particular. Obviously, the administrative aid, confidential aid, it was of paramount importance because Mayor Ellis felt that he was going into a hostile environment coming into the municipal building. It was of great importance to him to have someone that was one of his own there to sort of be a gatekeeper and be a confidant for himself.
Excellent. What about the captain's position that was provided to attorneys, to Mr. Swick? Was that discussed?
Specifically, the captain position, no.
Was there another position discussed?
It was a private conversation between the mayor and myself at his home residence. It was at the time that the current chief had retired. There wasn't a position, there wasn't a person that he had chosen yet to fill it. And it was made that the mayor did tell me that he was waiting for Swick, and I forget the name, I think it starts with a Z, another officer.
Zekman?
Thank you, yes.
You're welcome.
Another officer to take their test to see if they would be eligible to be for the chief's position.
Do you know why he had waited as opposed to just giving the position to the person next in line?
He had reservations about appointing Stegner because of the lack of support that he received from them during his campaign.
Who was the interview team? You had stated that there were multiple people. Would it be possible that the interview team was just about every member of the Ellis transition team?
At times, yes.
Were there others outside of the original email team?
Frequently there would be, in addition to that, Tom Palmieri, the Warren County Democratic Chair.
Right. He is on every single one of those
Okay,
emails.
yeah, no, he wasn't in attendance for all the interviews, but he was, for certain ones, he was part of the team as well.
Excellent. And I will try and move through my next set of questions very quickly. So going back to the original appointment of special counsel, the mayor had appointed Attorney Ferguson, correct?
Correct.
Do you know why he had chosen Attorney Ferguson?
He stated that he felt that it was owed to him due to being allowed to use his offices and all the support that he got through his campaign.
Okay, so if I heard correctly, he felt as if he
He was
owed,
obligated to.
like he was obligated because of his contributions to his campaign.
Correct.
The mindset of our mayor at that point in time was, and obviously I don't think that you can answer this, so this will be a statement. It appears that the mindset of our mayor at that point in time was to provide those who contributed with what he felt they were owed. I know you can't answer that question. It's a statement. So you were acting as the campaign treasurer for Mayor Ellis, yes?
Correct.
Okay. Did Attorney Christopher Troxel ever donate to that campaign?
Yes.
Did he work for the campaign?
Yes.
Provide advice?
Yes.
Okay. Corcoran family donate to that campaign?
Yes.
They work for the campaign?
Yes.
They provide advice?
Yes.
Scott Ferguson donate to that campaign?
Yes.
Did he work for the campaign?
Yes.
Did he provide advice?
Correct.
Did Sam Capello or any member of his family donate to his campaign?
I do not recall the full list of donors. I don't
Sure.
recall.
I can answer that for you if you'd like. Give me 1 second just to pull it up. Do you have a donor list?
I'm sorry?
Oh, no. Chairman, sorry. This is for the,
Just the one?
no, two.
Because it should be two, not that.
So, and I apologize because I have to go back and forth between these two sheets. So I can answer you that Mr. Capello's wife Sandy donated $40 to the Ellis campaign on August 29, 2015 with check number 5109.
Okay.
Okay?
It wasn't a large, so it wasn't something that.
Correct.
That didn't stand out.
Did he partake in any campaign events?
But Mr. and Ms. Capello?
Yes.
They both did.
They both did. Do you care to elaborate or shall I?
Well, they came to, I believe, several like campaign, we were doing, at the football nights, there would be informal campaign gatherings there. Over the summer, this was before, obviously the general election season really took way. Maria Rodriguez, who ran for Assembly, I believe, the fellows were volunteers to appear in a commercial ad she ran with Mayor Ellis.
Okay, so. Apologize, I just want to check one thing here. I left my volumes up because
As a community leader, I understand the importance of working with everyone to develop solutions to build a better.
okay, this is the aired commercial.
Correct.
For Maria Rodriguez, correct?
Correct.
Sure.
Don't turn it
Sure. You identify this woman right here?
Ms. Capello.
Ms. Capello?
Yes.
Gentleman here,
Sam Ellen.
gentleman in the middle,
Mayor Ellis.
female
Maria Rodriguez.
to her left,
Becky Ellis.
and to their left in the back,
That's me.
that is you, and the gentleman to your left.
That's my father.
Excellent. So safe to say that prior to being elected, he did partake in events, they partook together, they were friendly, correct? Excellent. Okay. Let's talk about Mr. Swick. Did he donate to the campaign?
I believe so.
He did.
Again, yes.
$100. Would you like, I can give you the check number if you'd like.
I do have the records of it. Like I said, unless that they started going over that, close to that $300 mark or
Right.
$600 mark, this wasn't something that was on my radar because I started reading contract.
So we've already established then that Mr. Swick also worked for the campaign and attended campaign events, correct? Okay. And what about Mr. Morissette? Did he donate or work for the Ellis campaign?
I do not recall if he donated. Mr. Morissette went door to door near the end of the campaign, but that was all his involvement.
Did he attend campaign events
Of course, yeah.
towards the end?
Yep.
Don Messina?
I really don't know what she looks like. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So then that would cancel my questions of whether or not she had donated or worked for the Ellis campaign or attended any campaign events. So everyone that we had just discussed, so you're aware, either was given a position or created. A position was created for one of them.
Yes.
To a mayor with a mentality of providing jobs or something in kind because he had the mentality that they were owed.
Okay.
Okay. We've established the time frame of Ms. Corcoran's position, and I believe we've also established that she donated in excess of $1,500 to the Ellis campaign. Would that be correct?
Correct.
She was hired before taking the oath. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Not officially, but
Not
unofficially.
officially.
Would it surprise you? If I can, who is Carmela Corcoran?
Her mother-in-law.
Was she actively involved?
Donation-wise, I remember that name coming across several times.
And S. Frank Kuba.
That's from to the Sherry's as well.
Okay. Are you aware that both parties, 8 days after the position was created for Ms. Corcoran, that each of those parties donated $400 each to the Ellis campaign fund?
No, I was not aware of it after I saw the campaign filings that Mayor Ellis and Mrs. Ellis submitted themselves.
So $800 in donations donated on February 24, 2016, 4 months after Mayor Ellis had already been elected, and a month and a half after he had already taken the oath of office. Was he still taking contributions to his campaign fund that you're aware of?
Not that I am aware of. Not. I was experiencing a large amount of medical issues at that time and was actually.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Okay. I believe that is all that I have for you currently, and I do appreciate you